We're discussing beauty on the plus side. This month, more than a dozen activists dressed in extra large and extra large white t-shirts and took their outrage to the streets of Manhattan outside the Abercrombie & Fitch store. Their demonstration was actually in response to the CEO's now infamous comments about the clothing line proudly being defined as exclusionary. Well, it is precisely that kind of attitude towards size and weight that we are discussing today in a segment that I like to call Beauty on the Plus Side. Joining me from Los Angeles is the first Miss America celebrity and plus size model, Chenese Lewis. She is also the host of Plus Radio. Chenese, can you hear me?
Yes, can you hear me?
It's a pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for joining us. And with me here in New York is CeCe Olisa, founder of BigGirlBlog.com. She runs a boot camp for plus-size women that addresses fitness and dating called Curvy Conversations. Ooh, I just like that. Also here is Shaina Tucker, blogger for A Thick Girl's Closet. She mentors teenage girls about self-acceptance. Chenese, I actually want to start with you. Tell me, what was it like, first of all, deciding to compete in this competition and then winning, because you're really putting yourself out there?
Yes, I'm originally from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and I decided I want to be in the entertainment industry, but there weren't a lot of opportunities in Louisiana. And so just by searching online on the internet, I was able to find this pageant, and I just decided to do something different and step outside the box and compete.
All right, Chenese. Well, congratulations to you. I have to talk to you ladies, though. Well, I have to talk to everyone. First of all, I cannot say how unbelievably gorgeous and beautiful you are. And I have to ask,
Thank you.
What did it feel like when, I mean, the Abercrombie & Fitch, that was everywhere. The CEO says, listen, we're not making clothes for anyone other than who I deem cute, right? Which is like size 6 and below.
Of course.
What did that feel like? First?
I think initially some of my readers tweeted it to me, and my first reaction was, well, if you don't want to make clothes for me, I don't want to buy clothes from you. I think it's pretty much, you know, I think a lot of times we sit around begging people to want us and to love us when there are so many independent plus size designers that are passionate about making clothes for us. So while the exclusionary feeling, of course it hurts, you know, but then it's like there are so many people that kind of create a space online, create a space in their brands and their businesses for plus size people. So why not just lean more towards them?
And Shaina, you know, one of the things in discussing this story that came up in the editorial meeting was what exactly is plus size nowadays? It's by some estimates, 1/3 of American women are deemed quote unquote plus size. Where does plus size begin?
Well, if you're talking model world, if you're a size 8 and up, you're considered plus size. You step out of that world, a size 14, in my opinion, is plus size. But I mean, 14 for me, I see a 14 to size 14. I don't look at her as plus size. I think she's an average woman.
Right.
You know, and plus size doesn't have one meaning. You know, we have hips and thighs, and we may have, some might have a gut, some might not. Some have back fat, some don't. You know, we carry everything differently. And plus size is so vast, the same way how slender women aren't all built the same. And we're seen as just this block. Like when I saw the thing about Abercrombie & Fitch, I was not worried. You have t-shirts and jeans. I could buy t-shirts and jeans at Walmart if I wanted it. You know what I mean? It was just like, okay, no one is checking for you. And I think that's why they went that direction, because no one is buying Abercrombie & Fitch.
Do you think it was a direction, or do you think the CEO just really put his foot in his mouth?
He put his foot in his mouth, because I mean, it's one thing. I mean, we have to be blind not to see that they cater to a slender type of person, because you see their advertising. They're naked, they're laying on the beach, they're short shorts. Clearly, you're not making anything for girls who have bigger thighs. That's obvious. I think to say it in such a blunt manner was my issue, because it's okay that you don't want to make plus size clothing. That's fine with me. But to be so arrogant about it and like, yeah, we have the cool kids. Who are the cool kids? The cool kids don't even wear Abercrombie & Fitch anymore. You know what I mean? So that's how
that is pervasive in society in general. It's not something that we just see from this particular clothing line. And CeCe, I understand that you actually run a boot camp that is about fitness as well, in as much as it is about self-esteem.
Healthy curves.
Healthy curves.
Loving your body before, after, during, whatever your journey is. I think diversity is really important. I don't think of Abercrombie & Fitch as a diverse brand. So I think sometimes weight weight is like the last acceptable prejudice. I don't think if he said, my clothes aren't for X race of people, it wouldn't have been as okay. But you can talk about the fat people and it's not that
And
big
you're
of a
right
deal.
about that.
You know what I mean? So I think sometimes, like I said before, creating that community, figuring out how to love yourself no matter where you are. Because if you can't love yourself, you know, at your worst, how are you going to find that love for yourself at your best? Sometimes those demons and those things don't go away. So for our boot camp, which is hashtag PSPFit on Twitter, which stands for Plus Size Princess Fitness, it's really just about the journey. It's about eating well because you love yourself, not necessarily for what the scale says.
Exactly.
And who do you find participating? Because globally, around the world, in many, many cultures, to be a size 8 or above is sexy, is beautiful.
Yes. I think we talk about that a lot in our sessions. Shaina actually participates in PSP Fit, so she knows.
I thought it was like when I hopped in with PSP Fit, because CeCe made me do it, it was interesting. You see girls that are married, girls that are single, that are in school, that are black, white, size 18, size 14, size 8. We're all in this journey to be healthy. And I always stress the difference between working out to be healthy and working out to lose weight. Because CeCe did say, if you can't love yourself at the 22 that you're at, when you hit your goal weight, that is not going to go away because you're going to find something else that bothers you. It's going to be, well, I didn't tone this up and I didn't do this. And it's like, okay, look. All right, you have to find self-worth before you start trying to adjust things, because adjusting is never going to work.
Especially if you're looking for love in other places. If you're in the dating game, if you're out there trying to do your
about
thing,
that.
you know what I mean? Like that love has to start from within. So
Can each of you tell us about your upbringing, how you grew up with these positive influence and positive affirmations about your body? Because I think that's great.
I have wonderful parents. My dad is amazing. I have three girls in our family, and my mom is plus size as well. So we grew up just very lifted up. And, you come home from school with that awful moment, and if you can come home, I'm blessed to have a 2-parent home. So I think that I don't take that for granted, and I think that that's something that you can still kind of find, even if you have to work a little more. A lot of people, when they don't have that male influence, it kind of affects them.
Sure.
But
Daddy issues.
Daddy issues. I've got positive daddy issues. So.
That's
How
great.
early does it start, did you find, when it comes to the pressure? Is it as soon as you leave the house at kindergarten, or is it really in the tween years?
For me, I'm an only child, so it's just me and my parents. Although my parents they've been split up for a number of years now. My mom was the tough love kind of person. So if I came home crying about somebody called me fat, she was like, look, you need to deal with it. You need to understand that that's not you. And now as I grow up as a woman, it's like, okay, yeah, you called me fat. So now that we established that I'm fat, let's find something else to talk about. You know what I mean? So growing up, it was about learning how to stand on your 2 feet. My mom was always positive about how I did things. My dad was always like, yeah, you're all right, you'll be fine. But they taught me that, you have to love, you can really find yourself and be yourself. And don't worry what nobody says about you, because people are going to talk about you to the day you die and even then after. And I just learned to really I can't put all my eggs in your basket. Like, if you don't like me, you don't like me. I'm not here to please you. I serve one God, and that is about it.
And Chenese, you took it a step further in that you proudly strutted your stuff on stage. You've got an applause in here in the studio for doing that. How often or how quickly do you see other ladies like you doing the same?
Well, I want to comment on how surprised I was when I saw the ad. Size discrimination is the most acceptable form of discrimination, unfortunately. So I'm not surprised at all. These kind of stories are ongoing. Melissa McCarthy was called a hippo by a movie critic. There was a cheerleader that she was ridiculed for being too fat to be a cheerleader. So these type of stories are the norm. And so it's very unfortunate. So none of these stories surprise me anymore. As far as me going above and beyond that, trying to be a positive role model by going on stage, as you said, a lot of people are, especially women, are learning to embrace their curves, and things like plus size modeling, plus size pageants are giving women a platform, because in mainstream society, our type of beauty is not celebrated. So we've created our own forums, our own platforms, our own events to celebrate women with curves.
All right, on that note, thank you so much, Chenese, for joining us today. And thank you, ladies, CeCe
Thank
Olisa
you.
and Shaina Tucker. And we certainly know where to find you guys.
Yes.
And keep it right here. You are watching Our Take.